This is NASCAR Coast to Coast, brought to you by Hercules Tires, right on our strength, and by Grunt Style. Now, with all the news from NASCAR touring, local and international series racing, here are Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse.
A new winner steals the spotlight on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour, and the Kevin Harvick Express is derailed in Southern California by a 16-year-old from Wisconsin. Welcome to NASCAR Coast to Coast for Wednesday, March 21st, 2018. Kyle Rickey here in Killingly, Connecticut, joined by Hannah Newhouse in our Concord, North Carolina studios. Hannah, welcome back to the East Coast. Just getting back in time for the show after a very eventful week for you out on the West Coast that began at Kern County Raceway Park last Thursday night.
Yes, I literally have been coast to coast in the last 24 hours. Got stuck in Dallas overnight, but I'm here and ready to recap, especially on Kern County Raceway Park, where the K&N West kicked off their season. Great race, great facility, and it's going to be an interesting season out on the West Coast this year.
Let's talk about that race for a moment. The NASCAR K&N Pro Series West opening up their season this past week. Thursday night, Kern County Raceway Park, and it looks like all the hype that Kevin Harvick brought to short track racing following his win in Phoenix, Hannah, brought the crowd out last Thursday night. Not only a great race, but a great crowd on hand to see it.
Yes, Kern County Raceway Park is a beautiful facility. It's a half-mile right outside of Bakersfield, California, and it was packed. You could see Kevin Harvick fans with old fan gear on to new stuff. Even some, of course, the K&N Pro Series drivers had fans out there as well, but it was a slam-packed house and a great race. Harvick definitely showed that doesn't matter where he is, he's fast, and doesn't matter what car. He drove a Jefferson Pitts Racing car, and he put on a clinic for the first half of the race, but it was 16-year-old Derek Kraus who made a controversial move at the end of the race that put him in the winner's circle, capturing his second win at Kern County Raceway Park.
But was it controversial? And we'll talk to him about it coming up here in a little bit. He saw a hole, he went for it. Yeah, they were 3 wide going into turn number 3, but I mean, isn't that what you're supposed to do in short track racing?
Yeah, I definitely think so. As far as the move, as a driver, I would have done the same thing. I'm looking at the fact that these drivers now have new tires that they're running on. They maybe not be accustomed to them, but they went 3 wide for the lead, and it looked like Kraus maybe just washed up the track a little bit, took Harvick with him, and they both lost track position, but Kraus was able to get back and capture that win.
Derek Thorne finished second. Cole Rouse finished third. Harvick came back up the finish in fourth. Ryan Partridge rounded out the top 5. Trevor Huddleston, Haley Deegan, Austin Herzog, Rod Johnson Jr., and Reed Lamphere rounded out the top 10 last Thursday night. Kevin Harvick was asked in the media center on Friday at the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California, about who he thought had the most potential in the race, and he said Haley Deegan. Do you agree with that statement, Hannah? As you were once 16 years old in her shoes, trying to make it in the K&N series. Right now, Harvick's giving, big props to Haley.
I was lucky to be there during an encounter with those two where they were both swapping notes, and Harvick was giving Deegan advice on, where to let off and where to get back on the throttle. And she was taking it all in, and you could see the wheels just turning on. She was actually going to apply this on the racetrack. And one of the things that I think Deegan has that a lot of drivers don't, especially females, and I can say it because I've been there, is she's fearless. She has no fear getting behind the wheel of these race cars and doing everything she can to get to the front, but she also learns, and she learns very quickly and is able to take what, Harvick just said to her and turn around and apply it on the racetrack. So I agree. I think she's definitely one of the drivers in the K&N Pro Series West that has a lot of potential, and she's got a lot of room to grow. And the fact that she's already so competitive with such little track time is going to be huge for her coming down the road.
We'll be watching her throughout the entire season. Derek Kraus, the race winner, he'll be joining us here on the show in a little bit. The NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour opened their 2018 season this past Saturday night at Myrtle Beach Speedway in South Carolina. And it was John McKennedy picking up his first career win in his 34th start. And Hannah driving for someone that we know in the Modifieds well, in Tommy Baldwin Racing, a partnership that started a couple of months ago and has found a lot of success in just a few weeks.
This team is up to a great start for 2018. Like you said, recently formed together. They kicked off their season with a win down at New Smyrna Speedway, and then unfortunately wrecked out the next night, ending their speed weeks a little early. But kicking off the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour with a win is a great way to go into a season as a newly formed team. That's got to be a great boost of confidence for them as potentially they chase the Tour Championship this year.
We will talk to John coming up a little bit about the Modified Tour. There was some talk at the beginning of the season when the partnership came together that they would not run the entire schedule. Maybe they have changed their minds in the days since the win a couple of nights ago at Myrtle Beach Speedway. Jimmy Blewett finished in second, Matt Hirschman third, Chase Dowling came home fourth, and Justin Bonsignor rounded out the top five. Couple of big guns finishing outside of the top 10. Timmy Solomito, that is, finished in 12th. Doug Coby in 14th. And Hannah, it'll be fun watching these two come up through the championship standings. As it was a year ago, Doug Coby got off to a rough start with a not-so-great finish at Myrtle Beach, a dead last finish at Thompson, and ended up coming back to win the championship. And we expect both of those drivers to be competitive for the rest of the season and be contending for that modified championship come October.
I think the Tour is definitely one of the most competitive touring series out there right now as far as in NASCAR's regional divisions. And Doug Coby, always a contender, and Timmy Solomito last year, really came down to those two at the end, but neither of them really got off to good starts. So that goes to show that it doesn't really matter where your season starts. You can come back if you run consistently. So I think that they're going to be there at the end, and hopefully we see McKennedy run for this championship as well. It's going to be a good season in the Whelen Modified Tour.
And speaking of John McKennedy, he will join us coming up after the break here on NASCAR Coast to Coast on the Motor Racing Network.
I'm former crew chief and STP auto expert Steve Letarte. Does your engine feel like it's down on power? It could be caused by deposits on fuel injectors, engine valves, and combustion chambers. An easy way to help clean up your fuel system and restore lost power is through the gas tank with STP Ultra 5-in-1 Fuel System Cleaner. One bottle contains 3 times the amount of cleaning agents versus the leading premium gasoline to help keep your engine running strong. STP, inside every great machine.
One bottle contains 3 times by weight the amount of cleaning agents and 35 gallons of the leading premium gasoline.
Grunt Style. The American fighting spirit is in everything we make. We are 500 patriots and veterans strong, bringing clothing manufacturing back to the United States of America. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We are Grunt Style, and this we'll defend. Get yours at gruntstyle.com or on the track this week at Martinsville Speedway.
This is NASCAR Coast to Coast, brought to you by Hercules Tires and by Grunt Style. Here are Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse.
We talked before the break about the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West season opener last Thursday night at Kern County Raceway Park, and it was 16-year-old Derek Kraus claiming the win, his second in the series, both coming at Kern County Raceway Park, a track that he has come to enjoy, and he joins us now on the guest line. Derek, welcome back to NASCAR Coast to Coast, and congratulations on what I assume is probably the biggest win in your still very young career.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's enjoying to be here.
Kind of walk us through the pass for the win. There's been a lot of talk about it, especially at the Auto Club Speedway on Friday in the media center. Your pass for the win on Kevin Harvick going 3 wide into turn 3 in the closing laps.
Yeah, I mean, came off turn 2 and we got into each other a little bit, and that all called to get 3 wide entering 3. And I mean, he was doing what he had to do to win the race. So I mean, I don't think anyone was really at fault. And then just entering 3, I feel like I kind of got pinched a little bit, and then I got into his left rear a little bit and got sideways, and then saved it up into him. And that, I mean, made a little contact where we both fell back a little bit, and I was able to get to the field better than he did, and I got the win.
Now, you closed the season off last year at Kern County Raceway Park, capturing the win. And, of course, we opened up this season this last week at Kern County as well. And before the race even started, I got a chance to talk to you. And you had mentioned that your favorite track on the circuit is Kern County Raceway Park. Why is that?
I really come to enjoy Kern County a lot just because of how fast it is and the grip level that it is. And it's also a great facility. I mean, there's good two-grouped racing, and with everyone in the K&N West side, you can run side by side with someone. It's really racing clean, so that's really fun, and that's what makes it fun racing at Kern.
And to bounce off of Hannah's question, 2 wins there in the last 2 K&N starts. Why that racetrack? What have you come to like about that facility?
Yeah, I mean that's a big achievement for me to get get my first win last year, the season finale, and then this year, starting off with the number 16 Napa Auto Parts Toyota Camry. It just means a lot just to get in that ride for sure. I got big shoes to fill with Todd being in there last year and win the past 2 championships. So it's definitely a little bit of pressure, but I kind of like that, and I'm excited to see what the season will hold.
You ended 2017 with a win, started off 2018 with a win. What's the difference between last year to this year? Like, what are you going into the season with a different mindset to maybe help you chase that championship?
This year, last year I was a little bit more aggressive than what I probably should have been. I probably should have held back just a little bit and stayed a little bit more patient than I was. Like at Orange Show, for instance, when I dove down to the bottom and I caused myself to get wrecked. But this year, I think it's going to be about patience, and we got to finish good. We got to finish consistently every single race, and I know that my team, my guys at BMR, will bring me a great race car to every racetrack, just like they did last year. And just going forward to every race, and I'm really looking forward to it. See what the season holds.
Third in the championship standings a year ago. How much more comfortable do you think you are in these cars and will be at these racetracks? Go back to them a second and third time. The season that started last month at New Smyrna with a 4th place finish, so obviously a little bit more this year.
Yeah, for sure. This year going back to the racetrack for the second time it's a lot more comfortable going back to the track. Like last year, I went out there, it was my first time on the racetrack, and took probably almost a full practice session just to get used to the track. And now this year, I'm used to them, so I go out there and we can throw on tires right away and try to put down a lap or do a mock run. I can really tell the crew what the car is doing really good this year, knowing what it needs to have in the later stages of the race or in beating the race for qualifying.
Now, your roots, you come from a lot of super late model racing. Your background is in super late model racing in Wisconsin and the Midwest. And I know that you compete regularly when you're not in a K&N car back in a super. What's the transition like going back and forth between a K&N car and a super late model?
Yeah, for sure it's definitely different running the super late model and then jumping back into the K&N car. At New Smyrna and Kern, I could really feel the difference. You gotta lift, you gotta drive the car way differently just because the K&N car is so much heavier in the super late model. And I feel like the K&N car, I feel like I can drive it a little more aggressive and it'll take it, where the super late model, if I drive it really hard, it'll get looser, tighter. I think the super late model is a little bit more sensitive than what the K&N car is.
Hannah mentioned the super late model. How much super late model racing will you be able to do this year? And in turn, how many K&N races will you do? We know about the West full time, but how often may we see you on the East Coast?
I'm pretty sure we'll be running the New Hampshire races, and then also Dover, and then of course Gateway and Iowa. That'll be the 2 combined races that I'm really excited about to get to again. Is Iowa and then Gateway. I've been there in a super late model, but it'll be definitely different this year. We got a lot more races, which is good, and then on the super late model side, probably got about 12 races. If we're home, we'll probably be going to it if the car is really good and prepared. But it's definitely really good to get seat time, and that really improves what I can do on the racetrack.
Now, with a win on your shoulder, you go into the next race for the K&N West Series, which is at Tucson, May 5th, and it's a little bit of a different format. They're doing twin 100-lap races, and for people who haven't been to Tucson, it's very abrasive. What is the different mindset going into 2 separate 100-lap segments compared to a total 200-lap race?
Yeah, this year at Tucson will be definitely different just because of the 200-lap races and also the tire. We really don't know what it'll do on Tucson, which, like you said, was a very abrasive track on tires. You'll probably have to save still a lot, but I don't think you'll have to save as much as what you did before, because these previous 2 races I ran in the K&N car with the new tires, you didn't have to save as much as you did before, and that I kind of like that. I didn't really like having to ride around for the first 75 laps and then being able to go the last 75. So I really like this tire and getting onto the new tire, which will help me if, say, I do move up to the trucks anytime soon.
16-year-old Derek Kraus joining us here on NASCAR Coast to Coast, the winner of the NASCAR K&N Pro Series season opener at Kern County Raceway Park last Thursday. A moment ago, our viewers were able to get a look at the schedule. Let's talk about that schedule for a moment. very diverse. A road course at Sonoma, the Speedway, high speeds of Gateway, and a dirt race for the first time at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway at the end of the season. Your thoughts on the schedule, Derek, and what race are you most looking forward to this season?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to Gateway in Iowa. Those are my two favorite ones. And then Sonoma and the dirt race ranks up there a lot. I mean, I haven't raced anything on dirt. The closest I've got to dirt is whipping the Razor around in the backyard with two friends. But, I mean, it'll be definitely really fun. It'll be a big learning experience, and with car control and the throttle control. And I'm really looking forward to them for a race, see what it holds. And hopefully we can be up there in the points that if something does bad happen at any of those racetracks, we'll have a good cushion.
Talking to some NASCAR officials this past week, they expect about 30 to 40 cars for that dirt race in the fall at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So it should be fun to watch. In fact, the entire season will be fun to watch unfold. Derek, congratulations on the win last Thursday night, and best of luck to you when the tour rolls to Tucson Speedway here in a couple of months' time.
Thank you.
Derek Kraus joining us here on NASCAR Coast to Coast. And again, those Twin 100s will take place on May 5th at Tucson Speedway in Arizona. Coming up, we talk about the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour season opener this past week at another abrasive racetrack, the Myrtle Beach Speedway in South Carolina. John McKennedy joins us after the break.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Chris Crockett, straight from Victory Lane, to congratulate the Toyota racing family, mechanics, extremely sunburned guy, and you, Mrs. Lippincott. Your support helped Martin Truex Jr. bring the championship home. Kyle Busch won Toyota's 100th race. Screaming fan who lost her voice, that victory is yours too. And Eric Jones, Rookie of the Year, joins Daniel Suarez and Denny Hamlin on the team. NASCAR and Toyota Racing. With a family like this, who knows the places we'll go this season? Learn more at ToyotaRacing.com. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
This is NASCAR Coast to Coast, brought to you by Hercules Tires and by Grunt Style. Here are Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse.
Welcome back to NASCAR Coast to Coast, presented by Hercules Tire. Ride on our strength. Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse, joined now by the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour winner from this past Saturday at the Myrtle Beach Speedway in South Carolina. His first career win. John McKennedy joins us on the guest line. John, welcome to NASCAR Coast to Coast.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's great to be on.
Now, without giving all of your secrets away, what were some of the keys to winning on Saturday night? Obviously, you want a fast race car, but you got to conserve tires as well. Kind of bring us through your night and how tight of a balance that was between conserving the tires and wanting to drive away from the field.
Yeah, it's certainly a challenge. I mean, a race like that almost kind of, beats you up more mentally than physically. It's just a lot going through your mind, when to go hard, when not to. And, just a lot goes into it with your whole pitch strategy, when to pit for your tires. But luckily it all worked out. We kind of had a game plan to go into the race and kind of keep the car up towards the front and, for the first half, and then, really go at it hard towards the end once we elected to, put our tires on and make our adjustments. And, it all worked out. And, Tommy Baldwin made some great decisions there on pit road. And, the guys over the wall did an awesome job changing tires and, gave me great track position. And it all worked out. It was, a good day for everyone.
Now, you guys announced this partnership a couple months ago, but the first race on the schedule for you was heading down to Florida and going to New Smyrna for Speed Weeks. And you guys actually started it off with a win, but the next night, definitely not good luck for you guys as you crashed out. But what was the thought process going into Myrtle Beach, knowing that you guys are a car to beat?
Yeah, Tommy's a really smart guy, and he has great equipment. And to be honest, when this whole deal kind of comes together, I knew we'd be, a strong combination and probably could win a lot of races. And that's pretty much what we've done so far. I mean, in our 4 races together, we won three
3 out of those 4 and got some poles, and it's just, things are going good. Tommy and I seem to be gelling pretty quick here, and, he's real methodical with his decisions on what he wants to do to the car, and, he's easy to talk to, and just me and him are on the same page with everything, and, things are good. I knew going into New Smyrna, it was going to be a really good opportunity for me, and, just focus more on driving, and, I just think it's all working out. It allows me to focus on the driving part of it more, and, Tommy, where he has a lot of knowledge, and, he has great equipment, it just, it makes everything work out, and, gives us chances to win races.
Partnership between you two was announced on January 30th, but according to Tommy, partnership started to develop, I guess, last year during the Modified Tour season in the pits at Riverhead Raceway. How did this partnership come together from your perspective with Tommy Baldwin?
Yeah, I met Tommy last year. We were pitted next to each other down in Riverhead for a modified race, and, we talked a little bit, and apparently he was kind of impressed with, how I drive and my work ethic on the car. And I think that caught his eye. And, last year there was a few times he had called me to run his car, and I just had some other commitments. I was running the Super Modified with the International Super Modified Association, and, I was chasing a points championship with that deal. So that was my commitment for the year. And, so the few races that Tommy wanted to do with me last year, I couldn't do because of the commitment with the Super. And, luckily this year with the way the schedules work out and everything, I'm able to run a bunch with Tommy. And, I want to give him 100% effort. And, that's where my focus is going to be this year with Tommy, and, make the best of this good opportunity.
Now, prior to this year, you've never ran the full NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, and you also mentioned that when this partnership was announced, you guys weren't planning to run the full tour schedule. But with the success you guys have had, can we maybe plan to see you run for a championship this year?
Yeah, that's what we're hoping on. We're trying to work some things out, and we'll have some more answers here shortly. Certainly, when you win the first race, and as good as everything's been going the last few races that we run together, it's kind of hard not to run the whole tour, but I don't know, we'll see what happens. We're going to try to make it work. We've got the icebreaker coming up here in a few weeks, and we'll see what happens. It's certainly something I would love to do, run the whole NASCAR Modified Tour, and, and run for a championship. It's one of those things I really like to do, and I know I can do it, with the right people behind me. I know it's very possible. I've been very successful with pretty much everything I've driven in the past, all different forms of cars and different touring series, and that's just the next chapter for me. And in all fairness, I've been running that tour, the last 8 or 10 years, but it's only been a handful of races here and there each year, and just never really got the good opportunity, and never really got the 100% commitment to do it right. And this year with what Tommy got and some of the new cars that we're building, it's certainly a good possibility that, it could all work out this year. And who knows? We just gotta make up a decision here pretty soon and kind of go from there if we're going to really try to run for this whole tour championship.
You mentioned the ISMA Super Modified Series. You've run that. There are several other NASCAR Modified Tours that run up here in the Northeast. Outside of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour and hoping to contend for that championship, what does the rest of your schedule look like for 2018?
Yeah, it's pretty much, just run a handful of modified races with my own car and some of the open competition races that they have up in the Northeast. And run some more stuff with the International Super Modified Association. Stuff that doesn't conflict with anything with the NASCAR modified deal. So certainly be a lot of races between the 3 different series. But again, my focus this year and commitment is going to be with the NASCAR modified deal and with Tommy Baldwin and that whole group of guys over there. It's a really good opportunity for me, and I want to make the most of it and, give Tommy 100%. That's what he deserves. He's given me a great car, and, he puts a lot of effort into the deal. So I think, that's going to be my focus this year on running his car the most I can and make the most of that. So if I can race other stuff with no confliction, then I will. It all depends on the scheduling.
You're certainly off to a good start with a win down at New Smyrna and a win at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Icebreaker at Thompson coming up just over 2 weeks from now, and hopefully the 20 inches of snow that we got up here last week and the 12 inches we're going to get tomorrow is gone by the time Thompson opens the gates for the NASCAR modified teams in a couple of weeks' time. John, thanks for joining us here at NASCAR Coast to Coast, and look forward to seeing you at the Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me on.
John McKennedy joining us, winner at Myrtle Beach Speedway a week ago on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, his first career win. Back to wrap things up with looking around the country at some of the action of the NASCAR Whelen All-American Series when NASCAR Coast to Coast returns.
Chris Crockett here with one of the heads of our Toyota racing family, Martin Truex Jr.
Doing great, Chris. Thanks for asking.
I hadn't asked, but was about to.
Great second question, Chris. Car feels great, and no pressure because of last year's results.
How do you
know what you're about to ask?
Yeah, you're
blowing your mind? Relax, Chris. Being out in the lead is what I do best.
That is
amazing. I know.
NASCAR and Toyota Racing. With a family like this, who knows the places we'll go this season? Learn more at toyotaracing.com. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
Grunt style. The American fighting spirit is in everything we make. We are 500 patriots and veterans strong, bringing clothing manufacturing back to the United States of America. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We are Grunt Style, and this we'll defend. Get yours at gruntstyle.com or on the track this week at Martinsville Speedway.
I'm former crew chief and STP auto expert Steve Letarte. Does your engine feel like it's down on power? It could be caused by deposits on fuel injectors, engine valves, and combustion chambers. An easy way to help clean up your fuel system and restore lost power is through the gas tank with STP Ultra 5-in-1 Fuel System Cleaner. One bottle contains 3 times the amount of cleaning agents versus the leading premium gasoline to help keep your engine running strong. STP, inside every great machine.
One bottle contains 3 times by weight the amount of cleaning agents and 35 gallons of the leading premium gasoline.
This is NASCAR Coast to Coast, brought to you by Hercules Tires and by Grunt Style. Here are Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse.
Welcome back to NASCAR Coast to Coast here on the Motor Racing Network, wrapping up another edition. And Hannah Newhouse, there was some short tracks that opened up this past weekend. Talking, of course, about one of the NASCAR's most famous short tracks in Hickory, North Carolina, the Hickory Motor Speedway, and there was a familiar name at the top of the leaderboard.
Yes, it was. They ran dual late model stock races, and it was Josh Berry, the junior motorsports driver, a really well-known name in late model stock racing, who captured the win in both. But it was Ryan Millington and Austin McDaniel who rounded out the top 3 in the first race. And then it was Sam Mayer, who is a familiar name from Speed Weeks, and Austin McDaniel who rounded out the top 3 in the second late model stock race at Hickory Motor Speedway.
Pat Rachel's won the limited late model feature at Hickory Motor Speedway last Saturday night. They're back in action this Saturday night, March 24th. And while a lot of the activity at Myrtle Beach Speedway surrounded the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, their late model program was also in action. And Hannah, another familiar name atop the rundown.
It was. Sam Yarborough captured that victory over Milliken and Matt Cox. The late model stock's always a great field to watch at Myrtle Beach Speedway with that abrasive tire. So their season underway, and this weekend kicking off their season is Kingsport out in Tennessee. Also, South Boston Speedway in Virginia kicking off their season this weekend, and they're offering quite an interesting promotion this weekend if you're around the area.
If you bring a ticket stub from the Martinsville Speedway this weekend, either the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race or the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series event, free admission into their season opening event at South Boston this Saturday night. 100 laps for the late models, a great promotion and a way to really promote short track racing. We're kind of seeing a short track renaissance here these last couple of weeks.
Yes, we are, and I'm looking forward to it. And hopefully the rest of the season is just as good as the first couple have been this 2018.
Absolutely. It has been a great couple of weeks, no doubt. Hannah, thanks for joining us here on the show. I want to thank John McKennedy as well as Derek Kraus.
NASCAR Coast to Coast has been brought to you by Hercules Tires and by Grunt Style. NASCAR Coast to Coast can be found on demand at mrn.com, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, and SoundCloud. NASCAR Coast to Coast is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.